Greetings, YouTube. Recently, I was having a discussion here on YouTube with someone concerning society's role in social justice. And during the course of the conversation, I used an example which I've used here before. I was discussing the three different types of family models. And when I refer to this, I'm referring to the high discipline, low tolerance, low discipline, high tolerance, and high discipline, high tolerance models, which I've discussed in the past. I'll cover this in a little more detail in a minute. And when I discussed this, she felt that it was a whammo, that she'd got me, because I had suddenly revealed the truth, that I had let something slip out that I hadn't intended. That by making the link between family models and social structures, society's actual foundations, that I'd shown how I had this paternal view of the world, and that I was viewing the government as the uber parent. Now, she was correct in that I was using this model intentionally, but I wasn't revealing anything that wasn't already known to at least people who know me. And I was using this example not because I consider I'm viewing society as the uber parent come in to take care of you, but because I view society as our family. Because we, you and I, and you and your neighbor, and you and the person on the opposite side of the planet from you at the moment, are all the same family. And we can either learn to live together, or we can die apart. And for me, that's what it comes down to. We have to learn to live together. And because we cannot always persuade through verbal argument someone to do the right thing, to make sure that everyone has equality under the law, for example, we establish laws that make sure that they are not going to discriminate against people, their neighbors, their friends, their family, our family. So, looking at the three family models I discussed, I'm going to show how I see them tracking to three major core political structures. So the first we have is the high discipline, low tolerance. That's classic fascism. In the family structure, it raises a child that has a fear of doing anything outside a very tight bound. This is where you live, right here. And if you step outside that bound, bang. Often, literally, you are corrected through violence. And fascism uses the same means, just on a societal level. The second you have is the low discipline, high tolerance. An example of your classic wild child. The child has no structure. They are allowed to do anything they want to. Because there is no structure, they don't know what to do. They don't have the ground rules they need to function properly. And in a political system, that would be the libertarian/anarchy. Absolute no control, and in political version of it, the wealthy just take everything they can get their hands on, and everyone else loses. Worse than we even have now. And the last is we have high tolerance, high discipline. Within a family structure, that means you have a set of consistent, evenly applied rules, and within those rules, within the family, the child is allowed to do everything they could imagine, as long as they're staying within those evenly and consistently applied rules. They're being safe, they're making sure that their chores and their homework is being done, they're making sure they're not harming themselves and others, but they're allowed to do anything they want to within that framework. And that, to my mind, is sort of the American ideal. Now, we've never achieved it. We don't even get close to it. But the idea that we could come up with a consistent framework of laws, a foundation and a frame of a building, and within that structure, we can experience the maximum number of civil liberties. In fact, enjoy them as much as we want, so long as we do not bump into the civil liberties of another person. So, good structure, lots of civil liberties. Now, she was espousing the middle one. High tolerance, low discipline. Wild child. Libertarian/anarchy. Because she felt that letting people solve their problems on their own without laws making them solve them is the best method. Except we know it isn't. If you look in the world, when you allow people to behave the way they want to, a lot of the time, they discriminate. A lot. A whole lot. And without laws to protect minorities, the majority will often tyrannize the minority. Because they can. And there's nothing stopping them from doing it. So we need laws in place to stop them from doing it. Whereas the system I'm espousing, the last one, high discipline, high tolerance, she was viewing as fascism because I was espousing a framework of laws, a nice, functional system. Yet she was thinking I'm like this. No, you must live in here. Otherwise I will smack you down. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we have a functional framework. Within that framework, we can do anything we want as long as we don't impose upon the civil liberties of another. And because she was espousing that anarchy libertarian view, she was seeing any guidelines as fascism. Whereas I'm seeing no guidelines as anarchy, because that's what it is. If you have no guidelines, you have no structure. People will do very ugly things. We know this. This isn't a speculation on my part. This isn't like, maybe if we took all the laws away, things would be better. No. We know what the world is like without laws that protect minorities. We have seen this. For thousands of years, we have seen this. The idea of protecting minorities is a really recent event. And we know what it looks like when they don't have those laws in place. And it's horrible. So we need those laws. We need a functioning framework. So when I make the comparison between those family models and society structures, social structures, it's intentional. I'm not letting anything slip out. I'm not suddenly revealing a facet of my personality that I wasn't aware of. It is not a Freudian slip. It is intentional. I am showing you that there is a correlation because there is a correlation. Because we are family. And we can either have healthy families or we can have unhealthy families. And we can either have a healthy society or an unhealthy society. Overly strict fascism, no controlled anarchy. Or one where we have useful, functional systems of law, checks and balances, and everyone gets to enjoy the maximum number of civil liberties. So that is why I'm a civil libertarian. That's what the lowercase L. Because I believe that all of us need to be treated equally under the law. That all of us should enjoy the same rights. I'm not taking rights from anyone. I'm not taking rights away from white, Christian, straight men. I'm not taking rights away from the Christian community when I say that non-Christians should be treated equally. It is not a zero-sum game. There's not game pieces on the table. And if one person has more game pieces, that means someone else has less. That's not how it works. This isn't a game. Now, when I say we can all have the same rights, it means that we all have the same rights and we don't lose anything in the process. Okay, well, I guess there's a caveat to that. Some people will lose the ability to publicly discriminate against minorities. Yes, I guess in that regard, there is a loss. Some people will no longer be able to publicly discriminate against other people with the law behind them. And that's good. I'm not going to fight the loss of discriminatory policies in a society. And then there are those who lament that loss. That's morally repugnant. And those that lament the loss of their privilege, when they were the only ones to enjoy equal treatment under the law, that's also pretty repugnant. You don't get to keep all the game pieces. You don't get to think of this as a game and make sure the other people are starved out, in some cases literally. We have to stop thinking of this as a game and see it what it is, our family. And we have to make sure everyone in our family is treated fairly under the law. Now, I don't like everybody in my family. That's okay. I haven't even spoken to some of the people in my family in decades. And that's okay. But I don't want to take their rights away. I want to make sure that they have just as much equal treatment as everyone else does. Me, you, everybody. That two people that want to get married who love each other should get married because they love each other. And I don't give a crap what their sex, gender expression, orientation, or anything else is. As long as they're of the legal age of consent, I don't care. It's not my business. Not my body. Not my business. And this is how I stand on most issues of civil liberty. Not my body. Not my business. So, when I make that connection between family models and social structures, It's intentional. And I'm hoping that other people can see that. And I'm hoping that people understand that I'm not revealing anything secretively about this. I'm very open about it. That we need to have healthy families with healthy children. We need to have healthy societies with healthy citizens. And I think the best possible method we can achieve that with is high discipline, high tolerance, where everybody gets to have a frame of work to work within and as many civil liberties as we can cram inside.